Men of Harlech, stop your dreaming. Can't you see their spirit points gleaming? See their warrior banners streaming to this battlefield. We got Zulu on the way.
The Zulu are coming.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mini Takes Podcast. That's Austin, I'm Shane. He wanted to sing. And he did.
Yeah.
On today's show, coaching and lessons. If we had money and time, Battle March boxes, and to IMAX or not to IMAX. Let's start the show. Mini Takes Podcast.
Look, if I open up your painting tutorial and the first step is getting out an airbrush, buddy, I'm not watching.
Bunch of nerds on the internet. Are you even having fun with this anymore?
Shane, if this happens, there's going to be wailing and gnashing of teeth, people burning their armies.
If you can't see it, don't paint it. Austin, I enjoyed your singing.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I believe there will be people who go and check to make sure that they turned on the right podcast.
Yeah, they may have had the wrong Spotify playlist set up.
Yeah, if you listen on Spotify, you can see us over on YouTube, and then you'll know that you were in the right place. What with our mini takes, graphics and whatnot.
Well,
Today, over on the Room for Future Nonsense, this is an inside joke now in our Discord, which is free to join. You should join it. This game store is too quiet, it says. We've got rumblings that there are folks who love the format of the show and how it's like guys talking about mini stuff at the game store. And somebody pointed out, yeah, but where's all the people hollering and arguing games and whatnot in the background? Somebody's dog, those sorts of things. And I was like, well, maybe we'll add a bed of noise to this.
Yeah, just a little undertrack.
Yeah. Which is funny because we're not the cleanest audio podcast in the world, and we probably should be. If ever I come by an extra $600, we'll get fancier microphones, and then we'll have more things to worry about going wrong. But as usual, Mini Takes wants your takes, and to start the show, we're also going to do the takes in concert with our first topic, which is coaching and lessons. So last week we talked about coaching in 40K, and we started off. Both of us were like, "This is dumb. Why would you do this? What are you throwing your money away on learning how to play a game?" And as we kicked it around, we both arrived at, no, actually, that makes as much sense as anything. Why wouldn't you? It's a totally reasonable thing to do, and we talked about the sort of, what even is it? What does it look like? And to that, we're not sure. But we've got two comments, one from our Discord, the other from Spotify, and I'm going to read them both, and then I want to kick that around a little bit more. So, Dave and company over on Spotify says, if you want to piss your money away for coaching, go for it. The rules seem to change every 5 minutes, so I don't know if it's worth it. Second take. Oh, well, then he does a different take, talking about D&D, which we also talked about. Maybe we'll revisit that one in just a moment. But let me pop over to our Discord, which, again, how do they join the Discord? Would you tell them while I find it?
Well, you can check in the description down below and follow that link, and you can join our totally free Discord. It is totally free. There's no charge. You can join us and many others and give your mini takes. We chat a lot. We post models we've been working on. We just kick the hacky sack around and just have a good time. It's a pretty good place to hang out, chat, and talk to other mini take fans.
Mini Take fan Jason Trump says, longer rant than what I posted on YouTube, channeling my Stephen A. I know Shane's favorite talking head. He is not, but I do appreciate his game. Should I do a Stephen A. impression as I read this at least first paragraph?
I don't see a reason not to.
I keep hearing about folks here saying, why would anybody pay for 40K coaching? It's just learning the rules. And I'm sitting here listening, about to lose my mind. Because that take right there is one of the most egregious, preposterous, downright ridiculous things I've ever heard in this hobby. It needs work. It's a limited Stephen
Yeah,
A.
I felt it.
I will continue as myself. Or I guess I'm going to continue as Jason Trump. When Shane paid for golf lessons, yes, Shane paid for golf lessons. Do you think his coach set him down and said, Shane, this is called fairway, Shane, this is a golf ball, Shane, you are allowed to swing the club? No, he was fixing his stance, adjusting his grip, teaching him how to attack the course, showing him how to think like a golfer instead of just exist on the greens. That's coaching. 40K coaching is the same thing. It ain't how do I roll dice. It's here's how to take your list and make it sing. Here's how to attack this mission. Here's how to dismantle that opponent's army. Some of you all talk about coaching like it's a silly waste of money. Meanwhile, you're out here losing games because you deployed your whole army like you were trying to park cars at a Walmart. Coaching is not a crime. Coaching is not a scandal. Coaching is not a conspiracy. Coaching is how you get better. And if you don't want to improve, that's fine. Don't you dare clown the people who do. Our boy was cooking.
Oh yeah.
And I don't disagree with anything he said because we started the conversation last week thinking we were about to clown people that pay money to get better at 40K. And by the end of the conversation, we were like, no, that's a totally reasonable thing to do. Now, what I want to talk about, and I brought this up a little bit in the pod, but I want to expand on it, which is the difference between coaching and lessons. Because those are a little bit different things. And I wonder what the 40K coaching marketplace is actually, because he's right. There must be quite a bit of here's how you play this mission. Basically, the higher level, finer points of how to get the most out of your game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also, I personally know one guy that pays for coaching. And I imagine a huge amount of the coaching at first was, okay, so let us show you how the charge phase actually works. Because this guy didn't know. You know, this is how piling in works. It's part of the fight phase, not the charge. Those sorts of things. And
the fundamentals we were talking about.
The fundamentals that we were talking about, because I think what you would run into as a 40K coach, like if you and I wanted to go coach 40K and we got some clients who were like, help me be better, we would probably find that there is a lot of, not miscommunication, but like a language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm trying to think of an analogy for golf because, well, I tell you what, there's people that take golf coaching, which is a lot of times a lot of, you almost think of it more as like course management. So the strategy. But then most golf teachers also give golf lessons. And the golf lessons are absolutely, so this is how you hold it, here's how you swing it. This is called a fairway. No, you hit it in the rough there. The tall grass has a name. That sort of thing. Like Jason Trump is saying, that's not coaching. That's true. However, 40K's rule set is expansive to the point that most people I see who are, let's call them not very competitive at it, and I don't mean like they're not playing medalists. I'm saying it kind of doesn't matter what they bring; they just lose all the time, right? Because of the decisions they make and the way they play the game. Those people, in my experience, and I've seen many of them, they tend to just fundamentally not have a good grasp on how the game actually works.
There's a lot of, say, glazing going on with the details of how everything is. Just kind of they've learned the game, but they haven't learned the game.
It's so I mentioned it as music. You know, there's an amount of music jargon, we'll call it. You know, your music theory, all that kind of stuff that is very important to learn if you intend to communicate with others very fluently, right? So there comes a point where we can't even have this lesson on topic X if you don't understand the underlying fundamentals in a really mature level, right? Not like
Yeah.
I kind of have a handle on it. I've got my hands on it barely. That's not good enough. You need to be able to teach it to somebody else before the words I'm using are even going to mean anything. And I think that's where uh, the lesson and the coaching they have to work hand in hand. And I do imagine that a lot of your 40K coaches are doing a lot of lesson teaching because I see mainly with the fight phase. I don't know why. The shooting, for some reason, it just seems like everybody gets that. But the charging and the fighting seems to be where people get all kinds of sideways. Um, the kind of mission math, too, is another thing. But then we're into coaching because the mission math doesn't matter if you keep getting all your dudes killed by
Yeah.
messing up your charges and your combats, you see. So
Hmm.
I just wanted to expand a little bit on that. Also, Dave and company talking about the rules change every 5 minutes. Um, I don't feel like the rules change every 5 minutes, but that's just my opinion. But
Well,
Dave and I'm
you're
playing
playing
more
about every
often.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm playing way more than even yourself. Um, but Dave and company's opinion is shared by many, so I'm not going to discredit it in any way. However, that even more, there are people, and these are fine people, these are productive people, these are good people, some of the best people, who either cannot or will not, and I think usually it's a case of will not, learn something by themselves. They will not do it. I don't know why. It's never made much sense to me because I'm somebody who I would rather you not show me. I would rather go give me the book. Just give me the book, right? But that's me.
Yeah.
But I know people that are like, okay, so you got the book? Yes. Okay, show me. Like, you've got the book. What are you talking about? What did you do all week? you know? And they're like, I couldn't get it. I'm like, all right. Those people need some sort of, if they want to pay money to learn the thing, when it changes, as often as it changes, whatever, shoot, I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them. I want to read the rest of Dave and Company's comment. Do you have anything else on the coaching and versus the lessons idea?
No, I think you're totally with that. Yeah, there's a difference between coaching and lessons, and that's kind of what we were getting at. Is that in the last podcast, you need to have the fundamental setup for people that are new getting into it. But then once you get into the actual weeds of the game, that's where the coaching comes in, going over things like army list, matchups, mission decks, how it all stacks out.
Yeah, could you imagine if you were if there was like a so in 11th edition right now, extended pylons like 6-inch pylon and consolidate's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah,
Um, and if you were coaching somebody and said, okay, you're going to see a whole lot of 6-inch pylon and consolidate, or you need to take a lot of 6-inch pylon and consolidate, but they don't even know how the pylon works. It's like, well, then
yeah.
in this coaching, we have to have a pylon lesson. So,
Mhm.
you know. David Company continued, and last week we talked about D&D and the sort of just ever-present sort of controversy around Wizards of the Coast and their handling of D&D in 5th edition and going forward, the wokeness, right? He says, second take, D&D is a sandbox where you can be and do anything. The problem is the artwork itself. It looks so homogenized with bland pastel colors, no gritty action, or bizarre settings or scary monsters. If I were a kid now, I'd say it looks lame. 40K is also having this issue to a lesser extent, uninspiring and bland art, not good for bringing new people in. And on this, I'd have to disagree a little bit. In the player's handbook for D&D 2024, it does have a look. It is a lot of pastel. It is a little bit ponies and unicorns, admittedly. Uh, that 2024 monster manual got some nightmare fuel in there, Jack. It looks cool. It's got all kinds of stuff. The campaign books, the sort of you know modules. They've got a lot of great art as well that show depending on where the adventure goes, it shows a little more of the teeth of the thing, if you will.
Mhm.
And to his point that the other stuff looks lame, man, the kids these days aren't watching the same kind of cartoons we used to.
Now
Bl-
they're watching
Bluey and Paw Patrol don't have the same edge as He-Man and Voltron. They just don't. And also, I believe that the player's handbook has always been a little bit on the positive side artistically for the players as they're making their character, because there's an amount of, when you're making a character in D&D, you're sort of making it like the battle plan before first contact. I'm gonna have a barbarian with my axe, and I'm gonna have these couple of powers, and I'm gonna be able to right. I'm gonna be a
yeah,
bard, and I'm gonna go into the tavern, and I'm gonna schmooze with the bartender, and we're gonna learn stuff, and I'm gonna be a thief, and I'm gonna right. And everybody's got
yeah.
this good idea for the character, and it's like a positive, a forward energy. And then the rubber hits the road, and those scary things from the art in the monster manual suddenly have your barbarian cut in half on the floor. And his last moments, he just looks down at the bloody bricks.
That was actually my first D&D experience. Was that exact scenario?
Yeah, and while that would be really exciting piece of art to see, like, the thing has gone wrong, doesn't inspire a lot of confidence or goodwill on to the players who have the player's handbook, because they're busy making their possibly first ever characters. So I don't know if that take totally holds water. I tell you, the other thing too is, if you're somebody that's not playing D&D 5 and 5 and don't have the books and just see what bots on Twitter like to put out, then yeah, you get the most silly looking stuff that's in there. But I'll say, someone who owns the brand new, the set, the three, the player's handbook, the DMG, the monster manual, in context as a whole, this stuff looks great. It looks interesting. It's also, there's something to the everybody can be anything and all this stuff is together, right? Like, you go to a town
Yeah.
and there's a beholder with Care Bear eyes and all this just crazy stuff, right?
Hmm.
It inspires a lot of ideas. You go flipping through that thing, and I promise you, you'll come up with characters you never thought of, which is cool, and is kind of the point. I think that the old school guy with sword faces off against dragon, that's awesome, but also I don't think there's anybody that isn't aware of that, like, just intrinsically. If you're 10
Hmm.
years old and you somehow have found the D&D book, you've probably already seen that second edition art online, or whenever that came out, whenever that was. I mean, it was a long time that all the art was that way. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Do you have anything for that, Austin, before we get on to our main? We actually kind of have a main topic today, I feel like. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Quickly touching on the D&D thing, I kind of had the. I was thinking this over on a drive home from work today, and I was thinking, what if in a future publication they really shook up the art style and just had, I don't know if it'd be the Dungeons Master book or something, but just had like just really out there different diverse art styles and settings that they're showing off. I mean, they may already do that. I haven't seen the book, but having like just everything depicted in different ways to emphasize, make your own adventure, make your own setting, do your own thing, make it your own.
Yeah, they don't really do that. They sort of, um, the last few dungeon Dungeon Master's Guide, Player Handbook. Let's just call them core sets. Okay. The
Yeah.
last few core sets have had an art style.
Hmm.
And right now we're in a more sort of colorful, animated, if you will, kind of look
Yeah.
to it. And I like it because it's different, you know. And also, the market is somewhat the tabletop RPG market is somewhat saturated. I feel like with sort of grim and gritty, sword and board type
Yeah.
systems these days. And so D&D is doing a bit of a zag because kind of they can. There's also the Matt Mercer effect and all that kind of stuff where all the theater kids want to play this. And, a lot of the old heads, a lot of the grognards hate those folks. And I got to say, having ran a game for years with and without, and, simultaneously with, and, with old school folks and new school folks in the same party, and
Hmm.
those theater kids, don't knock them. They make it fun. They will try stuff. They never just say, "Okay, everybody four corner the monster." No. No, they've got more clever stuff to do than that. Which then makes the game more fun for me as the DM because I don't have to worry about any of
You
that
don't have
kind
to
of
play. Yeah.
cheese or funniness, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
game gets played like we're all playing pretend rather than we're playing a game because there's a reason why I love tabletop war games because they're better games.
Hmm.
Speaking of tabletop war games, oh boy, do we have a topic today.
Yeah.
It is what projects would we get into if we had unlimited time and money? Because you and I got scrolling through the Warlord Games website and all of their historicals, which go back like from biblical times to like Cold War era carrier, naval combat. All right. And we were we were being tempted, boy. We were being tempted.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth and give you the sort of stuff that we would do if we had all the time and money in the world. And we want you to get in the comments or over on our Discord and let us know what your sort of just pipe dream wish list projects would be. So, Austin, you want to start? It's not really a top three or anything. We're just going to kind of bounce it around.
Yeah. So my idea of this is I have some kind of magic wand and I can just go poof, and suddenly I have a whole army and project done on the table. Maybe I even have just a table I can just do anything with. But that's the way I'm approaching this. And what I would like first is just go poof and have an entire like second edition scheme painted Ultramarines army with every single thing from the chapter, every tactical marine from the chapter, every Terminator, every Rhino and Land Raider, dreadnoughts, everything there to make just a big sandbox army to pull from and do anything I want with them all painted in their bright blues and bright yellows, and just real classic Goblin green bases. I think that would just be terrific.
That's fun. I,
Yeah,
I didn't think you would have a 40K thing in this list.
that's always been the one thing that I wish I could have in 40K. It's just a classic Ultramarines army.
I'm going to start small and kind of ramp up. So, um, I would like to have. So, you and I have started playing Bolt Action. We can't say enough good about Bolt Action. It's awesome. And I've got the U.S. Airborne. So, paratroopers, guys that jump behind D Day. That's who I've got. And they're awesome. They're my favorite. But looking through the armies of the U.S. book, the other thing that I would really like to have are the Marines. A whole Pacific theater bunch of dudes, shirts off, t-shirts running an artillery piece, flamethrowers, all of it. That would
Hmm.
be awesome.
And you need a wish for a person to play Japan.
And I would also use this magic genie to give you an entire Japanese army so that we could get
Yeah,
to it. Iwo Jima, here we come. How sick would that be?
that'd be awesome.
Imagine the grass tufts you would have to get. I would have to get like the leaves and everything. It would look like the Predator movie on the basis. It would have to. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my first one, but it's gonna get silly. What else you got?
So here's a funny one. If my next one is if I had the magic wand, I would go poof and I would aim it right at my Civil War box I have in my closet, and
All right.
I would have that thing automatically painted.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
poof.
So the Revolutionary War about got me. I mentioned that the epic scale Revolutionary War from Warlord Games just about got me the other day. And kind of in that vein, here's what would happen. All right, it's kind of a multi-part thing. I've been reading the Patrick O'Brien, Aubrey and Martyrin books. All right, so that's Master and Commander, the movie that was so good.
Yeah.
So there's like 20 something of those books. I'm on like book 14, and they are Jack Aubrey is a captain in the Royal Navy. He's on all these little boats. He's running them. This is during the Napoleonic Wars. I think they're on the second one at this point, right? So, War of 1812 is about to kick off. Like they're fighting on the water against the Americans too. But on those ships of the line from Great Britain, they always carry a contingent of Marines in their red coats, look and fly like they do. That way, if they need to land anywhere, if they need to defend a fort, if they need to take a place, if they need to just fight ship to ship, they got all these trained soldiers on the ship ready to go, in addition to all the hundreds of people that are running the guns and running the ship. And so
Yeah.
all the Navy wear all the Navy officers wear blue jackets, all the Marines are in red. And so I would like to have epic scale. Epic scale UK. British forces. Cannons. Redcoats. Cavalry.
Like Waterloo?
Like Waterloo, yeah. Yeah. But then they would also work their way down. They'd come all the way down. Because we'd have their various mercenaries for whatever theaters they're in, right? And we'd work our way all the way down. What is it? The Cape of Good Hope? Is that the Horn? We'd be down in Africa, South Africa, in fact. And I would have some guys that I could field for one that I believe you put on the list. It's going to be brand new from Warlord. It's epic scale.
Yeah.
Tell them who it is.
It's Epic Skill Zulu that's coming out from Warlord Games. I want to touch on this real quick. I completely screwed up our list. I didn't even realize that never saw the main topic. So I was just adding stuff to this list that I wanted to talk about. I was just adding stuff.
I thought you wanted an epic scale Zulu a Zulu horde.
I mean, that'd be cool, but I was just throwing stuff to talk about. But yeah, I'll take it. If I just have the magic wand to bring anything, I'll just give me all of it. I don't see a reason not to.
It'd be good.
But yeah, they got the Warlord Games is coming out with the Zulu for their epic scale. It's coming out with the British and the Zulu. Rourke's Drift little battle set thing with the little hospital they're defending. It looks really cool. The Zulus are on the classic epic scale base with multitudes of guys, and then the British are more kind of skirmish style with maybe like 5 guys per stand, and then some singular characters, which is insane because they're 15 millimeter scale. Like just having individual guys on bases for the characters is crazy. But yeah, it looks like a fun set. If I could just have it and have it already done and painted, where I could keep in the closet and like bring it out for like Game Fest or conventions or
or
just
to pl-
whenever,
or to play
that'd be
me.
great. Yeah, just say, hey, are you ready for the monthly Zulu? Be
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I'd be like, boy, am I. um, yeah, shoot. I thought the Zulu was on your list. I thought that's why you sang the song at the top of the show.
Well, I wanted to talk about it eventually as like a news topic, but yeah,
Well, well, we got there.
I'll just yeah, I'll just name off everything I want later on.
What else do you want?
Uh, well, I have an epic bolt action question mark on our rundown.
What the
That
heck?
was me.
What does that mean?
That's me saying, what if they released a epic scale bolt action?
It's called Flames of War, isn't? Is it not?
It could be, but what if they wanted to make their own? Kind of ease into that market.
Oh man. So you've got Warlord Games taking over everything that's not 40K. That's what you have.
I'm just saying they have the not necessarily IP, but they have everything for bolt action. Why not make little bolt action? Little bigger bolt action.
What would little bolt action be like? Because
I imagine it would be.
the thing that makes bolt action work is it kind of gets down to that sort of squad level, platoon level fighting and
Yep.
makes it make sense. Where, you know, a dozen dudes can fight a tank. That works, right? But if you took it up a level, then it's what, a bunch of tanks? Is it just a tank game?
No, I feel like what you could do is, I mean, it would be very much Flames of War, but you could make a little alternative Flames of War in that. I think the way the list building works in uh, Bolt Action, you could tweak it a little bit, not necessarily just like in the base game, but you could have each little, what are they called, each section, like your infantry, your artillery. You could have those be kind of like units.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of taking like your HQ and then your little infantry with them, as I'm doing my hands, you would just take a unit that would be the HQ and then little, I guess, round bases of like 5 guys or whatever. And then those could have wound counters on them, like say 3, or it could be a pin mechanic inside it. I feel like this is like, what this is for is for people who are like, I want to play most of D-Day because I like bolt action, but I don't have
A
a
parking
convention
lot.
floor space. Yeah, I don't have a parking lot to play D-Day. I don't have. I want to play Kursk. I want to play all these major battles, but I don't want to do like the small like raid a farmhouse.
Yeah.
Bringing
Um,
the epic into bolt action.
yeah, I like it. I'm not mad at it. I feel like the I feel like the nature of combat post machine gun doesn't work as well at epic scale as it does pre machine gun. Does that make sense? So epic scale, all these
Uh,
historicals that we've been talking about, like up to and pretty much finishing at the Civil War. After that, I feel like it makes less sense because a single guy in bolt action shooting a single guy kind of matters in a different way, I think, than it did before that. Because the single guy might be shooting a dude that's running a machine gun. I just don't know. I don't know what the Battle of Kursk would look like if you just had sort of your couple of 5, 10, 15 dudes on little round bases, and they weren't actually hiding behind the hedgerow. They were more like near the what, like how much of the terrain is just a marker and how much does it actually matter. You see what I'm saying? It
The
could be
way
the
it's
difference
working
of
in my
like
head is,
open field combat versus not. Maybe that's what I'm
I
working
just
on
feel like
here.
there's a bit of a scaling. There's a scaling work with it combined with a bit of abstraction.
Yeah, because I feel like what you get into is at some point because what we're doing is we're zooming out, we're zooming in, right? Call of Duty,
Yeah.
you're zoomed all the way into a guy's eyes, one guy. Now you respawn every 4 seconds, but just for the sake of concept and argument, you're all the way zoomed in. Doesn't really work for a tabletop game. It'd be a funny tabletop RPG, I tell you, to play a World War II historical setting for an RPG. That'd be weird, but you could do it. Um, but then you zoom out to like you say, we're gonna fight around a farmhouse. And then if you zoom out again, you could say, okay, well, the farmhouse is part of a larger ongoing battle. But then we're very close to zooming out one more level, and we're playing Axis and Allies, and we're sort of taking like a region. But at that point, the combat gets so abstracted as to feel somewhat intangible to me as combat.
Okay, so here's an idea. Take the way the game is played currently. Take your squad of guys, proxy your squad of guys with stands of 5 guys,
Sure.
and your squad leader in that unit with an HQ
Yeah.
per se. And now you have an infantry squad in epic bolt action.
Yeah.
And they can go and do their thing as you would in bolt action, but now it's 5 guys.
Yeah.
And say for like you want to take some machine guns, you would take maybe like a stand of 3 machine guns and kind of string them out however many inches they have to be from each other to make a machine gun position. I feel like there's a way to do this,
Oh, I think you're right.
and we're not qualified for doing that, but we're able to kind of round in a square peg, force our way halfway there with an idea.
I like you. You really have played this as I have a genie that only grants wishes for the miniature hobby, and you've said, build me a game, and I got some faction ideas.
Yeah.
That's great. I like the cut of your jib on this kind of nonsense. Um, another one that I wanted. So this might be my last one, and then we'll move on. Because I'm imagining, by the way, that I'm actually doing the hobby project too. Except my one mortal life isn't actually used by these projects somehow, right?
You have like a pocket dimension
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
temporally
have like
protected.
that's right. I have like a pocket dimension that I can go into and do this, and outside of it, my wife's not concerned about how I haven't been seen for days and whatnot. And I don't grow any older,
Time
and I
moves
don't.
differently.
Yeah, I don't. I
Yeah.
don't miss anything. Those sorts of ideas. Um, so this one is a bit of an expansion. I am going to have an honorable mention that I just thought of, but this one's a little bit of an expansion about that British Napoleonic force. Okay, there's a game called, oh shoot, I have to check again. Blood and Plunder. It's a little bit of a pirate game, but I believe that you also can have like your sort of regular militaries represented in it. And it's 28 millimeter. So it's like pike and shot scale. And the boats on this thing are like I'm doing my hands in front of my face, folks, and they're something like a foot long, 15,
Looks like
16
you're
inches
eating
tall.
a sandwich.
Huh?
Big a sandwich.
Like a giant
Like you're eating
sandwich.
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Buddy, they got the ships, they got the dudes on the ship represented by 28 millimeter figures, and you can just fight on land as well. So you can actually say the scenario today is we're going to come in under the cover of darkness and try to cut that ship out from the port. And the enemy is like up in the street in the town.
Mhm.
And you can play that out from rolling in on the ship, possible. You can come up with all kinds of stuff. It's got rules for all this kind of stuff. There's probably a fort with cannons. Maybe they see you, start shooting at you, and you land your guys and get your guys off the boat. The boat's running around. Maybe it's fighting other boats. While you get on this
Yeah.
boat, fight those dudes off the boat. It'd be amazing. It is. Listen to me. I'm going to get close to the camera, folks. Blood and Plunder looks amazing. It is prohibitively expensive.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, man. I don't even know. I've seen some people play it, but the guys I've seen play it don't seem to even. They're never very good at getting their head around the rules very quick. So I don't even know if it's a good game. But man, it'd be good enough just for the spectacle of it. Do you have one more? I noticed you had Epic Romans on the list, or was that me?
No, that was not me. That was
Oh,
you.
that was me. I want Epic Romans, Epic Scale Romans.
What do they have now? They have Rome and Carthage for epic scale. So they have Republican Romans, or do they have the Celts now?
I don't know. I think. I mean, we looked all through the Warlord games the other day, and they have just about everything you could possibly want.
Oh yeah, it's Hell Caesar Punic Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, but they do have Celts.
There you go.
I was just wondering if they had Imperial Romans.
I don't know the difference. I want the guys with the big square shields.
Was there Imperial Romans?
Yeah. My honorable mention on this thing is I would like to have a Star Wars Legion army. The reason I do not is because me and the wife like to play Star Wars Shatterpoint, and I've got so much of that if I painted another bunch of Star Wars, it would really feel like repeats. Speaking of that, go check out our Discord. There's a Bitsbox section in there, and you can see what I've painted recently on Star Wars Shatterpoint. I'm doing all the characters from Star Wars Rebels because we just finished watching that, and it was great. Go ahead.
I got one more. My next stream army is going to be a Star Wars Legion army to fight your Star Wars Legion army.
I love it. I'd be playing Rebels, so New Hope.
Okay, well I guess
Jedi
never
era.
mind. Dreams dead. I wanted to play Rebels, so forget it.
Oh well, yeah,
forget it.
We can't have the same. Well, if you want to play Rebels, I could get down on. I could be the Imperial, the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick,
we're back on.
Big issue with Star Wars Legion for me is big
Everybody.
gripe I've had. I know they have more factions now, but for a while the 4 factions were Beige Army, Rebels, White Army 1, White Army 2.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the factions are kind of funny. It was Clone Wars era stuff, Republic and Trade Federation, right? So droids and stormtroopers, essentially. And then you go to a New Hope era, whatever we want to call it, and you get the rebels they're different, and then you get a slightly different stormtrooper army.
Yeah.
Subsequently, they've added some stuff for the like you can be the oh gosh, who are the bugs? What are the bugs called?
One of the Crime Syndicate guys.
No, well they're the ones that made the
they're
droids.
The Pikes.
No, not the Pikes. The Pikes are the Pikes are.
Oh my god. The Geonosians.
That's it. No.
I thought we were talking about a large. Yes.
Yeah.
We were talking about like a larger, like
that's right,
5th faction.
Yeah. So they're in there now, but who wants to be them?
I mean, they sound interesting. The way I look at it is, if you don't like painting white stuff for some reason, if you don't have an air, if you don't have any way to do air for doing just white on everything, and you're having to brush that on,
It'd be brutal.
buddy, you're out two armies. You got to pick between beige droids or now you got like maybe a camo project with rebels
Yeah,
doing if you do like their commando stuff.
it'd be rough, man. It'd be hard. Um, but then you get to paint Luke Skywalker and Leia with that helmet. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Um, all right. We got one more thing to talk about somewhat briefly. Let's save the old world Battle March boxes for next week. What do you say? I want to hear
I
what you
guess,
have to say
sure.
about IMAX, like the movie format.
Oh yeah, IMAX. So if you aren't aware, the Odyssey is out in theaters. Christopher Nolan's new film, and apparently it's good. I was on the fence about it because I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan. I feel like a lot of his stuff is kind of pretentious and it's a lot of Oscar bait, and uh, I just feel like it's overly hyped by cinephiles,
Um,
or not even cinephiles, like 19-year-old cinephiles who just now discovered what a movie is, and they're like, "Well, Christopher Nolan's the best ever. Have you seen Interstellar? It's so good." I
yeah,
like Interstellar, but I'm just saying.
yeah. So Christopher Nolan's a little bit back and forth for me because I agree with you. Um, I thought you were going to say you're only but so interested in the Odyssey because it's woke garbage. Isn't that what we've learned on the internet? Is this just woke garbage? That's the only thing anybody talks about is how woke garbage it is.
Well, that's what people are saying as well. But having kind of listened to what people have said about it, the direction of the film, and what they're doing with the story, I think it's interesting. It sounds interesting what they're doing, and I wanted to go see the film because the score was only increasing as the reviews were coming out.
Yeah,
Uh,
it
and
it's funny because the Twitter bots got so upset about the whole thing being woke garbage on upon no other information beside the casting of Elliot Page and uh, Lupita Nyong'o. Nyong'o?
yeah,
I think I got those both right. And then it came to pass that they only have like 9 cumulative minutes of screen time in the entire movie, which we're going to get to the IMAX point in a minute, guys. I promise this is not going to be 2 hours talking about the Odyssey. But so that's a situation. What I don't understand is they got Elliot Page out here for like every single appearance and press junket as if they were the star of the movie. Like I saw more
mhm,
red carpet pictures and stuff about Elliot Page than I did anything from Matt Damon. Which
yeah.
says to me, is it possible that some of these studios, maybe Christopher Nolan and his pretentiousness that I do agree with you, he exudes. Um, did he know what he was doing and was like, I'm gonna enrage the internet and just use that as algorithm fodder so that people will go see the movie just to see if it's garbage or not? Is that possible? Because that seems crazy. Basically,
It's
what
possible, but that sounds
that is so much controversy and just negativity to invite for what turns out now that the movie's out and we know that the two of them, if you have a problem with them, which look, I got no problem with Lupita Nyong'o, no problem. She's been excellent in everything I've ever seen. Okay, uh, Elliot Page, kind of hit or miss. All right, uh, but if they're only in the movie for 10 minutes, then why would you put such a spotlight on them when they're not actual critical pieces of the movie? And therefore, the only thing that can lead me to believe is that they did this on purpose to get people riled up, which is nuts, I think. because you didn't have to do that.
I kind of feel like it's a chicken and the egg situation, to where I'm not sure how much of the Twitter bot controversy fed into itself, creating a situation to where these actors then had to become prominent in the marketing as a pushback to these kind of discussions, being like, well, we're gonna show you, and we're gonna be front and center in this movie push to counter these voices that are going on. I feel like maybe that's what's going on, because without their near constant posting about the movie and how woke it is and what's wrong with it, I feel like that's created its own energy and maybe propelling these actors and actresses forward, uh, more into the limelight, because they have a lot more uh, they have a lot more pressure on them
So
from
so
being
so you
exposed more.
so you're saying there's just a vicious cycle that we are incapable of escaping, because that doesn't
Yeah,
sound like much fun. It
I
can't
guess
it, it,
not.
it can't be fun for Elliot Page. It's like, okay, so now the whole internet is mad at me, and in response to that, I need to go and show up at every single thing, get on planes, go all around the world to do this thing, so that the internet can perpetually stay mad at me. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Well,
at
and
some point, you want to be Tom Cruise and just cash the check and go back home, right?
how much of it is even, and we're not even talking about the IMAX ratio
We
yet.
haven't even
How
got to that
much of
yet.
that is how much of the thing is that they just happen to be at the red carpet event? They just so happen to be part of this press tour, but because they're there, we're only seeing coverage of them due to everyone else focusing on them. Because Matt Damon, he could be at these events, he could be giving interviews. He was on Live with Kelly and Mark the other day, pushing the movie, but no one cares because he's Matt Damon. He's not the controversy.
Right. No, that could be
He,
too. That could be. I can't imagine there was anywhere in the world that this movie was having a red carpet that Matt Damon was not also at with and Elliot Page was there as well. I don't know. It's strange. But you had a point that had nothing to do with that controversy. I just like pointing out when we get chopping it up about stuff and the internet is big mad, I like to examine if they're actually real people. Real people that have thought about anything, right? So if you guys are listening and you wonder why is Shane even bringing this up, that's why. Because I like to study if these people that are mad have actually thought for 15 seconds about what they're mad about, or if they just like to spread vitriol on the internet.
yeah.
But you've got a problem with IMAX.
I don't know if I have a problem with IMAX. I have a problem with this film specifically in its distribution. So the film is shot on, I believe, IMAX 70 millimeter film, which is fine and good, but
1:43
there's
aspect
only,
ratio.
yeah,
All,
massive picture. But the problem,
go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, there is maybe even the fingers on my hand that many theaters that you can go and see this movie in its true aspect ratio, as Christopher Nolan intended during creation. Uh, Now, if you're a person that has to go to a regular movie theater to see this film, like me, you're presented with the issue that you will only be seeing a cropped photo or a cropped piece of film. You won't be seeing the whole picture. So you are actually missing out. And I've seen, I don't know if they're true or not, but I have seen side by side photos of what you're missing. And it looks horrible. It is the return of the VHS pan and scan for home video with the full screen. It is cropping off the tops of heads. It is messing with framing. It's horrible. And
So,
I wanted to see this film, and now I feel like there's no way for me to see this film.
Yeah,
in good judgment.
it's funny because so I just recently saw a stat. There are 41 IMAX theaters of this scale because there are plenty of IMAX theaters, but the particular ones that can do the 70, right, or is it
Yeah,
73 millimeter film, the biggest film that
I think it's
IMAX does. Okay, there are 41 in the world.
yeah,
21 of those, I believe, is what I saw, are in the United States. That is not many. We have an IMAX
no,
theater in Memphis, Tennessee. It does not, I believe, it is not one of those 21 that can do the
no.
big film. It can do the middle. There's a middle
They're
version, which is less cropped.
yeah,
Um, now, Austin, here's my thing. You mentioned the pan and scan from where we took
uh-huh,
your letterbox, 9:16 or whatever widescreen movie thing, whatever the actual cinema aspect ratio is. I could get some numbers wrong here, but follow me, folks. Um, and they brought it down to like that 4:3 old school CRT square TV. Our older listeners will
yeah,
remember when TVs were square, right? And you'd get these crazy looking edits and shots where they had to take something that was obviously a very wide panoramic looking shot, and they're like, well, we're going to take this box out of it. So it could be a close up on two people talking. You get one person talking, and then they just move it over for the other person to talk, and you end up, rather than two people really feeling each other, you got bop, 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 back and forth.
yeah.
That was to get a widescreen onto a square screen. Do you know the aspect ratio for this giant IMAX film?
Oh my gosh, I don't.
1:43. It is way closer to square than it is wide.
Yeah,
So we are so close to the IMAX just being 4:3 aspect ratio again that you could about get a better version of the movie if you rolled in the old TV cart and put it on. It would be tiny, which IMAX, the whole
hmm
thing is it's big, right?
yeah,
However, the snake has ate its tail where you would get more of the shot in standard def 4:3 than you would at the movie theater with regular widescreen or at your house on your new 4K widescreen TV. and here's the real comedy, Austin. You know what we need to capture these IMAX movies? We
what?
need to go back to the days, and look, we're going way back now. Because you're in TV and you're in television production. But listen up, old folks who are old like me, our listeners. Do you guys remember when you had two versions of the VHS that you could buy? And let's be honest, most people got real mad when they picked up this one. Ye old letterbox. What was the letterbox?
hmm
This is a 4:3 cut of the movie that was widescreen. Except all this. But Shane, you just said the TVs used to be square. That's right, I did. What they would do, they'd give you a black band at the bottom, black band at the top. Little bitty viewing area. You'd have to watch that thing.
hmm
I'm up close to the camera again, because this is how you'd have to watch the letterbox. Because your TV was like 28 inches. And we just cut, what, 30% of the screen off the top and bottom? But then here's what's even funnier. So we call that letterbox because it made it the shape of like a letter, like an envelope that you put in the mail.
Yeah,
Young listeners. Except now, because it's closer to square, the letterbox is going to have to come from the sides.
you know, I feel like there's a solution to this.
I think I just did it.
Well, we can do Letterbox again, but on our mobile phone. Yeah, so you just get the phone out, upload the entire movie, like I don't know, like 60 times, cut up into little sections on TikTok. Distribute it for home release that way on TikTok. You can
Uh,
watch. You can watch it. It'll be in the right aspect ratio. Just might be like some blocks on top, but you'll be able to see the full square format.
yeah. No, it's letterbox with the bars on the side. That's what we need. And it'll be, well, it won't be great because it wasn't great then.
I just want to
I
watch the
remember my
movie.
mother used to get so mad when we'd accidentally get the letterbox rental of something. That TV was so
My
small.
my my dad always would tell me that the letterbox would break our TV, so we can't get it. And I believed it forever. I was like, we can't rent that. I think what he was worried about was the letterbox burning into the TV. That's what he was afraid of would happen.
This was pre-burn. You couldn't burn anything into a CRT.
Well, no, we had like
You had an early
something else.
plasma
It was like
something.
yeah, early plasma or like a projector TV.
Oh yeah, that might have burned. But I don't think you can
And he was like,
burn
we can't get that.
black.
It'll break the TV.
I don't
I don't know.
because it's just the lights are off is all it was.
I mean, he could. I think he was just saying, "Don't buy that.
You know,
Don't rent that
you know
one."
what I think it was? I think that the TVs were small. Letterbox made it smaller.
Yeah.
On that bombshell that we need to bring back Letterbox, but now on the sides to watch our IMAX only films so that we don't get cheesy pan and scan. Thank you, Christopher Nolan, and your strange marketing. We need to hear your
Many takes.